Ni hao, fine shite. How are you all doing today?
Doing good, man. Just another green day in paradise.
Just another green day in paradise. I would say this is the first green day we've seen in a while, and it's welcome, Dracula. It feels like the pain of May has gone away. You know, now we're in June, and can't really
Pump soon.
Oh, there you go. And it's pumping soon. It's pumping soon.
You know, they always say that whole thing, the sell in May and walk away. And every single year, I'm always like, nah, the chart looks good. I'm not going to worry. And then every time they get you.
You know, years ago, Clay told me that on a show, and he asked me what I thought about it. And I tried to make him look stupid. I was like, that's dumb. No, who cares? And you know, like many things, Clay was proven correct. Because that year and every year since, I should have sold in May and gone away.
Well, like I said, we're gonna flip the script. It's going to be get to June, pump soon.
Yes.
All right.
June. Just survive till June. Dude, check this out. I got this thing. You ever seen this before in your life?
Oh, it's like the ginger shot kind of deal.
It's like an energy shot, like all those hippie energy shots. You know, they put like turmeric, ginger, and all that crap in it. But this one, DeFi Maximus, I like that. Moon in June. The moon in June.
Moon in June.
This is the uplifting energy shot, but it's got a little secret to it. It's got terpenes in it, dude. So if I feel a little funky, you know. Now you
what
know
are
why.
terpenes?
Oh, Dracula.
What are terpenes?
Terpenes is the stuff that's it's in all plants, you know, all plant matter, and they're like they give it like different tastes, and I guess they have like different effects. I don't know. That's the marketing. They say this is going to help you wake up, so we'll see.
Oh, okay.
100 milligrams. So,
yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, you know, once again, you know, looking at Bitcoin, Friday, you know, as of Friday, we had, you know, good old Danny on here. That was a good time, but you know, not a lot. Like I said, not a lot going on in terms of like, you know, we're still keeping this support here. I mean, it looks like by a thread. Look, like that is the tiniest little green, like you can barely see it. That's what the candle looks like right now. It's fighting for its life. But
in that tiny little green candle, a guy lost $100 million.
Yeah, we didn't even get to talk about that on Friday. We were, you know, like I said, we were going right into it with Danny. But yeah, James Wynn, dude got hunted hard. And it just goes to show you that no matter the size of your position, if you are in crypto, if you are in Bitcoin, whatever, you put anything out there with like remote clout, there's always going to be some guy that is still going to hunt you just for the love of the game.
Oh yeah.
There's some guy out there with, you know, $5 billion. It's like, let's liquidate this asshole. let's just get him. No reason. Just pure hate. Just hating just for the love of it. Just like, let's like the market's good. Everything's good. Let's take this guy out though. He's having too much fun. He's making too much money. That should be my money. Why is it not my money? Let's liquidate him.
Dude, there are guys out here that'll liquidate you for $50, fellas. They'll run the stops to get your $50. They'll spend $500 to get your 50. You know why? Because they're haters, dude. And that's the beautiful thing about crypto.
Yeah.
It's populated with all these freaks and geeks. I actually have a video that kind of supports this here. Real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up. Do you guys remember Rasmer and Thread Guy?
I remember Thread Guy.
I think his name's Rasmer. Let me share this here. What's the best way to do this? I guess like this. I'll share my screen. This is from the Palestine News Network. I don't know. Oh, all right, I got to say this. I don't know why there's some Palestine Israel stuff in here. I don't know why, because these guys are extractors from crypto. So I don't know what that has to do with this. But Thread Guy, if you remember, and I think RASMR, they were like
they were part of the vape ball thing, right? Yeah.
So they had a little confrontation here.
A famous person? You like a famous person that never made it, bro? Come on, bro. You really cool, bro. You walk like a cool guy, bro. You super cool, bro. You guys are really cool, bro. These guys are super cool, bro. They think they're celebrities. So who's gonna help you?
He's horny.
You keep looking for help. Who's gonna help you?
He's fucking horny, bro.
This guy keeps getting so angry,
horny,
bro. This guy keeps getting so angry. Sir, why are you so angry?
I'm not angry.
You keep making angry faces, bro.
He's a tough guy. You want to see how tough he really is.
Sir, you walk like a fruitcake, bro. You walk like a weirdo, bro.
A weirdo.
Look how he walks. Internet, look, make this walk famous. That's the weirdest walk I've ever seen in my life, bro.
From the river to the sea, baby.
God bless you guys. Beautiful people say beautiful things. Free Palestine. Sir, you walk like a chump. You walk like a chomo. You walk like a weirdo, bro.
So he's taking like yeah, so that's a new angle. So they're hounding those guys because like, you know, they got scammed on a meme token, but then it's also they're tying in like some political
it seems like to me, this guy runs a called the Palestine News Network, but I guess he's also in crypto. So he usually goes around and I don't know, just agitates for Palestine. But he ran into Thread guy and he had to fucking let him know, dude. Which I kind of respect, right? You know, you run across the guy who yoinked you for 100 mil, whatever.
Yeah.
The business. But it is a little, you know, something to keep in mind in terms of like publicity, like how public you are, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be harassed on the street probably for the rest of his life.
Well, yeah. And those guys are still just hanging around, you know, downtown LA or whatever. So yeah, I mean, people are, you know, going to always be like probably hounding him about, you know, they lost money on this or lost money on that. And it's like, you know, it's like I said, it's like I have found, you know, like look at Luna was a good example. There's evidence that some guys came together and hunted Luna when it was starting to depeg. And these guys had enough money to actually manipulate the market. So what happened was a lot of Luna's collateral was in Bitcoin. Well, these guys were hunting Luna so hard, Bitcoin was also dropping, and they were also selling Bitcoin to manipulate Bitcoin. So what happened was not only were they in like a death spiral depeg, but the reserve asset that they were going to use to like get it back to peg was also being tanked at the same time. And if I remember right, the numbers were like, I think 6 or 7, it took $6 or $7 billion to do it, but some guys did it.
That's crazy.
So,
that's like, you know, yeah, look, basically everyone in crypto is a target all the time.
So this guy's saying $100 million, you know, there's some guy out there like, oh yeah, 100 million. We can liquidate that. No problem.
That's crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the greater, I guess, narrative that this is tied to, Dracula, like we kind of started this off with, was a lot of, I guess, centralized exchanges are kind of using this as like a wedge. Some people have accused James Wynn of being an actor for centralized exchanges. And as Daniel explained in our last episode, I mean, it's totally possible he didn't really lose money on this if he just covered the other end, which very likely he did for $100 million.
Yeah, I don't know if Daniele, we were talking about this before I don't know if this was on the show or not, but yeah, he had a theory that, you know, obviously these guys run hedges often, like kind of like more like delta neutral hedges where you can, you know, if you have millions of dollars, you can set up a 1x leverage position. So you're basically not really levered up and you are literally just looking for what position is paying at the moment. Yeah. And if you have millions of dollars, for instance, if he was longing 100 million, he could have had like a 1x short with like much, you know, with maybe just like however many million, a few, and just off the fees, probably could have like made some decent money as well. That's like what a lot of these guys do. So, yeah, and there are people that are even speculating that this guy's just some kind of actor.
Yeah, this was like a marketing budget essentially to prove, like, for centralized exchanges to be like, look, your transactions are public, so like anyone can counter trade you and you can be targeted. And, you know, forgetting the fact that the centralized exchange can do the same exact fucking thing to you, but way worse. Right?
Yeah, they can just do it opaquely with their trade desk behind the scenes, you know?
As in Binance's not so secret internal trade desk isn't like running the stops every day on everybody. But,
I mean, we were talking about, you know, BitMEX last week, and, you know, Arthur Hayes, speaking of people that just had love for the game, you know, BitMEX had that famous troll box while people were trading perps. And I mean, sometimes Arthur Hayes would just hop on the trade desk just to fuck with, you know, he'd just say, oh yeah, like let's run these stops. We're about to run your stops. Like you guys are screwed. Like I need a new Ferrari. Time to run the stops. Like, I mean, so, you know, when you can't see that behind the scenes, yeah, it goes both ways. I mean, they're saying, oh, it being on chain is bad. Come to us where we can actually do it to you and make the money instead. And you don't even know who's doing it.
Yeah, I think, but I guess to put a bow on this little thing, do you think it's a fair point though, that like you need privacy in terms for these kinds of transactions? Do you think we should be working some kind of solution towards that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's things out there where you can meet in the middle, and you know, there are like, you know, a handful of projects that are focused on privacy on chain. So yeah, I mean, the solution, maybe it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know. You know, I guess it goes both ways, I guess. You know, like I said, it's, you know, with a privacy solution, does it still just create a problem where the exchange itself can manipulate? I don't know. So, I mean, you know, I don't know what the best answer is. Maybe someone could tell me, but
an interesting argument to keep our eyes on. Now, a Sonic assistant has joined us. Let's add him on the stage. And now let's start talking about Sonic. Now the boss answer we're doing, we got to start talking about Sonic. We can't talk about Bitcoin anymore. Hey, assistant, how you doing, dude?
Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, dude. All right.
How's it going?
Yeah. Yesterday, worse than last week.
I was gonna say the whole hyperliquid thing is so interesting. Like, I feel like even if the guy is hedged, like he put up such a crazy like show, you know, like I don't know, people like that. Like the show was entertaining on Twitter, and that's why I kind of got like suspicious when you saw CZ get involved. It's like, oh yeah, DM me. It's like, wait, I thought this guy's like the enemy here. Like,
well, he's like crowdfunding like more money. He had like
he's taking donations to cover his new. Which that was one of my favorite things was he had $100 million position, and somebody noticed on chain that the guy at one point he took his referral fees and added it to his position. It was $85. He's got a $100 million position, and he's like, I better throw this $85 in to get my margin up. You know,
that's crazy. You never know. That's wild.
You know, I want to join the LA Vape Cabal. How do I apply?
We gotta get the broccoli haircut.
Yeah,
is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's the broccoli zoomer cut.
I always wonder that. It's so bad. Like, is it just every kid is getting a perm now, or what?
I guess so.
I always just called it. I thought it was called like the bussin' cut or something. It's like the bussin' haircut. I don't know.
I just call it like the fuck boy haircut. I don't know.
That could work too, you know.
But the broccoli makes sense.
Yeah, the broccoli actually I think is pretty accurate.
Dude, it is a weird haircut. I don't know how you like. Does it have to get permed? It's too damn curly.
Well, we had some other things to talk about, but while you're here, I guess we should talk about the big announcement earlier.
Oh yeah,
which was if you are in the U.S., you can you no longer have to. Let me think how to phrase this on the show. You no longer have to find special means to download to get your airdrop, right? To interact with your airdrop if you are in the U.S.
Well, I think like the reason why I wanted to come and talk really quickly, it's not about like the airdrop in the sense of like the nuances of the airdrop, because I'm not like legally inclined, I guess is a good way to put it. So
legally inclined. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not an attorney, right? So I'd rather not talk about that stuff. But where I can talk about is like what it means for just getting tokens in the hands of more people. I mean, yeah, people always find a way to get their hands on airdrop somehow, some way. But I think that a lot of people could get more exposure, especially in the following seasons. Like people are saying, like, I wish you would have told us that before season 1, and it's like, well, we didn't know before season 1, so. Yeah, I think that it means a lot to be able to just onboard new users. And like for me, I just look at it as like just being a tool for Sonic to grow. Basically, yeah, I'm not looking into it even in the financial aspect or like American aspect. Having broad reach to any country, like any geographic, is obviously going to be like net positive for Sonic. It means that you can just get in front of more people.
I got a question. How, like, what changed to allow this to happen? Like this announcement to be made like today, you know, I mean, like some shift in the law or an appeal or something.
I could probably comment on it, but you know, basically if I have it correct, you know, like I said, not financial advice. If I have it correct, they've recently been discussing like gas tokens and proof of stake tokens, and I believe it has been ruled that they are not securities. So like I said, that's not, you know, like Assistant said, we're not legal experts or whatever. So that is like,
I mean, that might be why. I don't know why exactly, but I did see what you're talking about, which is saying that like proof of stake, like staking, isn't considered a security. So, but I don't know what the interpretation of that is. I think that what changed is probably just like administrative stuff, and more maybe like open approach to just trying things. Like I don't know if anyone else really did a big airdrop around the same time. Like let's say post January 23rd or whatever, right? Post inauguration airdrop. Like was there a large notable one? I don't know. So maybe we're the first people because it's kind of like the new administration. I have no idea. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, even if it was another country, like, you know, that not sanctioned, I don't know, like let's say like Turkey or something was like on a can't airdrop, and then all of a sudden we started allowing airdrops for people in Turkey. If that were the case, I would also be happy. Like it doesn't really matter. It just matters of if you can just get access to people that are, I guess, not on the OFAC sanctions list. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would say that is nice news for a lot of people. You know, obviously, when everything first drops, you know, when everything first comes out about the airdrop, that's like one of the first questions people ask, you know, is like, am I going to be able to get it in the US? You know, like, do I have to figure out how I'm going to get it, you know?
I mean, of course, I knew when the first tweet was going to go out that there was going to be some, like, there's basically 3 ways that it could go. It was going to go like, wow, amazing, and more access to US users from the community, or it's going to be like, wow, I thought you guys were going to announce Coinbase, or wow, this is another stupid USDC announcement. Like that's usually what people say. But let's be real, like we don't know when, if we were to be listed on Coinbase, like we don't know, right? Like the people that get listed on Coinbase, they don't tell you before you get listed, by the way. Like that's not how exchange listings work on like US based exchanges. So they're not going to like hit us up and be like, hey guys, we're going to list you in a couple of days. Like, that's not how it happens. So like, first of all, we wouldn't know. Second of all, like they would be the ones to announce it, not us. Like we would have there's no idea. So, I mean, like I mentioned before, from our side, like everyone on the Sonic team, when people ask us about new exchanges, we tell them the truthful answer, which is we talk to every single exchange. There's no exchange that we don't have communication with. So take that into your own brain and process that. But like we are actively trying to get S listed everywhere. We're actively trying to get USDC listed everywhere. I mentioned in Vienna that we were going to get USDC on Kraken, like as it pertains to US users. I think there's people in US use Kraken as well. Is like that's happening. So like USDC will be added to Kraken soon, and then also OKX. That's like the pending integration right now. So that takes time. I'm actually headed to the OKX office right now just to like meet with their team because they're pretty nice people. So yeah.
Oh wow!
I'm working as hard as I can. I just saw a report that came out yesterday. I could share it with you guys. That says like the most stable coins in all of crypto are parked 58% are on Binance, and 15% in number 2 position is OKX. So like having stablecoin access to OKX is huge because there's a lot of stablecoin users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we all know the Sonic community hates stablecoins. They hate stablecoin users. They want them all
They hate
rounded
them.
up into a camp
Hate
and
'em.
sent off-chain.
Off-chain.
But
Yeah.
it's important, dude. I don't know why people hate stablecoin users. I guess it's because they think it doesn't affect the underlying token price. But to me, I think of it as it's scaling for the fire. You can't
It's like
can't
a farming attempt. But like, I don't know. My mentality is always like, I always use this analogy. I think it's stupid, but like, you know what? And I probably said it here. You know when you go to Vegas and they give you like a free hotel room to get you to gamble more? It's like the same concept. It's like, come bring your stable coins, you park them on Sonic, earn points, put them on Aave, and then you get exposure to like other stuff. Like even that one deposit of you depositing in Aave is kind of opening your eyes to how fast the chain is. And it's been working. I mean, there's a lot of transactions every day on Sonic.
Well, you know, just to pull up the old dominance chart, the way I look at it is you just have to treat it like, I mean, when you're looking at the dominance, I mean, you know, Tether alone, 4 or 5% at all times. If you add USDC in there, you're talking like stables at any time, probably having, you know, if you're counting USDT and USDC and some of the other big ones, you're talking about 10, 11% of the market at all times, which is huge. I mean, that's
total crypto.
Yeah, I mean, so that's bigger, you know, that's bigger than Ethereum. That's, you know, not bigger than Bitcoin, of course,
Bro,
but
stable
you know,
coins are not going anywhere anytime.
Yeah, I think you just have to look at it as an asset class. So,
I have a
you know,
connection, but I watched that stupid video yesterday. Did you guys see that Charles Hodgkinson's video where he's talking about like Bitcoin and stable coins or not?
No, I haven't seen that one yet, but I always watch anything that Charles puts out there.
It's so funny. Like that guy is so delusional. I love it. It's so funny. Like he talks about crypto and like Cardano as if Ethereum never existed. Like in his brain, Ethereum doesn't exist at all, and that like they're still pioneering DeFi. Like I don't know. It sounds crazy, but he was saying like Bitcoin needs to have an algorithmic stablecoin because you need to be able to spend Bitcoin like the digital dollar, and that centralized entities behind stablecoins are like very toxic. So there needs to be a decentralized stable Bitcoin stablecoin. And I'm like, this is coming from the same guy who last week literally said that it would be better if Ripple took acquisition of Circle than Coinbase. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah, and I mean, it's like, hey, we got a measurement for that. It's called Sats. So yeah, it's not that hard to calculate, honestly, if you, depending on like how you list things or charge for things or whatever.
It sounds like there's a big movement right now because of stablecoins being so like, look, stablecoins is like the fastest growing segment of crypto, probably going to be for a very long time, right? Because it's got the most use cases for the most industry, right? But a big narrative forming, and it has been forming for like a year now, is like the decentralized stablecoins, right? It feels like he just grabbed that and he's just adding Bitcoin onto it because he's doing like the influencer thing. I gotta take a thing and then just marry it to Bitcoin because that's how you be a big influencer, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's funny. Speaking of Charles and you know, ex-employees and all that stuff, as Karn says here. Karn says he's just ignoring Ethereum. He's a salty ex-coworker. Now remember, since Assistant's here, it'll be fun to bring this up. When I talked about you got to follow the news on the back pages. So we've been talking about this for a while.
Very
We've been talking about this for a while, how Ethereum is like slowly trying to get people comfortable with the agenda that they want to scale the L1 versus focus on L2s. It's slowly moving along. I played a video, but it's like 2 minutes, and basically that's all you need is the headline there, which is that, you know, he's
I'm not a technical person, but is it really that like? Can someone chime in if someone's in the viewership? Like, is it really that hard for them to scale Ethereum? Like, don't they need to just update like their tech and like push a new update to the validators and stuff? I have no idea, but I'm just saying. Like, I assume that it's not like that crazy.
I mean, they if they were able to pull off hopping over from proof of work to proof of stake relatively painlessly, they can definitely update the stack. I think with Ethereum, a lot of it also has to do with, they're still very much hindered by some of these, the process that they kind of set up for their governance and how things get decided and how long it takes to like make moves on things. And in fact, that's kind of like the first thing this guy says in the video is he goes, why 2026? Why would it take that long? Like, just do it. You know what I mean? But I think that's what you're continuing to see, though, is that I'm curious what the future is for L2s they are just kind of making this very slow shift where, they're just dropping it here and there that, they are mostly going to focus on Ethereum as an L1 in the future.
I'm curious to see how this will play out for L2s. I don't know. L2s have always made me feel a little funny, Not a good way.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting for the future of it. I mean, I think no matter what you do, there's still going to be L2s because it's a very easy stack to fork and get up and running. There's people that can probably get an L2 up and running in like a day or two. I mean, it really, you can, if you know how to work with the stack, I mean, you can do it pretty quick. It's more about all the extra infrastructure that you have to, things that you have to pay for and expenses. And that's why not everybody does it, but I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. I think we're going to continue to see that. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Something we could have talked about while Assistant was here, because I know he was just, Robinhood just said something about making an L2, but they also just acquired Bitstamp, which is crazy.
Bro, they're acquiring everything.
So I'm not sure what the plan is. I guess like I was gonna say, I guess you could almost make like a Hyperliquid kind of deal with that infrastructure. I don't know if that's what they're after, but something is brewing for sure. I'm not sure what.
I haven't used Robinhood in a good long while, but if I do remember, they custody everything for you.
They have a DeFi wallet, I think now.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong, but I remember that from like 2 years. I remember when Robinhood first got into the crypto world, because I remember people were buying Dogecoin on there like crazy with like Elon Dogecoin pump. But I think that they added some DeFi stuff. We talked to Robinhood. I mean, Robinhood US is very like regulated and kind of I don't know, not secretive, but like it's a process to talk with them. Like, it's not easy. But Robinhood Europe, I mean, S is listed on Robinhood Europe, I think. So yeah.
So yeah, they're making all these moves. I'm not sure what the plan is, but I guess it could be interesting. Honestly, buying Bitstamp is not something I saw on a bingo card anywhere.
Or when they buy those companies, it's not any other reason than just the users, really, like and like the mailing lists and stuff. I feel like they're probably missing that geographic. Like, I think Bitstamp is a lot of Asia, so like they're probably missing like Asian demographic from Robinhood. So strategically, they're like, well, we need exposure to Asia. This is like an express route to just do an acquisition, and then we just have like all these Asian user base.
This guy said they removed their sell button. I remember that day. Yeah, they removed the sell button on GameStop, and then I guess another day on Doge. That was pretty wild.
What have you guys seen? This is why I like this show, because we could just talk about other stuff besides Sonic. Because to be honest, like talking about Sonic all the time, like I talk about Sonic 24/7, so it's like a breath of fresh air to talk to people about other shit. But have you guys seen like the new Polygon network?
No, dude, I don't look at Polygon, bro.
They just launched a new layer 2. It's
I mean,
called,
how many layers are these guys gonna come up
bro.
with?
I mean, look, I wanted to mention it. I have my opinion, but I just wanted to mention it to get your guys' opinion because I got a whole recap of what it is yesterday, and because I was talking to someone on their team and I just didn't have the info, so I was just curious. I was just curious and just asking, but essentially what it is it's an optimistic roll up. It's a new chain that's like powered by Polygon. I don't know. You know how these people tote the line with like
Yeah.
issuing a new token and stuff, but it's called Katana. And then they're actually taking like the reason why I know about it is because they're taking pre-deposits from Sonic for like this airdrop thing,
Oh
which
my
is
Lord.
in a way, I was talking to the team. I'm kind of flattered. I'm kind of flattered because if you're willing to put USDC on Sonic, that means number one, you're acknowledging that we have good USDC metrics, and then you're also acknowledging that we exist, which is pretty cool because we get snubbed all the time.
First of all, when you make your website in light mode and you put this photo in my face blasting, I'm not going to use your network by default. But yeah, I mean, this is wild because they've had what, 2 iterations of Polygon network itself. They did the ZK EVM,
Yeah.
which just was a total, I guess, flop. And so now this is like a straight up L2, which is insane.
So from what I understand, it's a it's like optimistic roll up, but on the ag layer. So like they use ZK tech for like the fraud proofs, but the actual like bridge, I believe, is the ZK bridge maybe. Anyway, the interesting concept of it, it's like a hybrid of like a bunch of different things. So I mean, what they do, first thing that scares me, and it's not about them, it's about anyone who's doing pre-deposits. And I'll just give you my point of view because we didn't do pre-deposits on Sonic, but we just did a different type of program where like any chain that has you lock funds to get bridge yield scares the living shit out of me. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys, how do you guys feel about that? Like, don't you like to just be like, if you're like locking some speculative token, like let's say VE33, like solidly model, if you're locking some speculative token, you're willing to eat the risk and you're like, you know what, maybe this thing goes up and then I get voting rewards in the meantime and have cash flow or whatever. But like, what if you're just locking stables for like an indefinite amount of time? Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I just won't do it at this point. You know,
Right?
My example I use is Blast, and a lot of people really hated that airdrop. At the end of the day, when I had a lot locked up on Blast, and when I kind of ran the numbers,
were you locked where you can't? Hold on. Were you locked where you can't withdraw, or if you withdraw, you lose the points?
I mean, you were able to actually withdraw on Blast. Luckily, it wasn't a lock, but yeah, you would lose your points. So I stayed in, and yeah, I mean, it ended up okay, but was it worth the yield and opportunity costs and everything else? No. If you want to look at a bad example, obviously what just happened with Barra was a straight up, I mean, a plane crash or whatever. I mean, it was like people were locked.
But see, that's what the benefit is. That's what the benefit is for us. Like we looked at that and it's like, when you have, I think opportunity cost is so big in the space for yield. Like people are always going to yield like they got max yield, right? So like if you have opportunity costs where you tell people like, hey, you got to farm, and if you leave, you lose everything. Then you're kind of like you're setting yourself up for not failure, but you're setting yourself up to have some pretty disgruntled users. I mean, don't get me wrong. From our airdrop, we will have disgruntled users. It's just part of the game for any airdrop. Not everyone is going to be happy, right? But at least for us, like if you were farming on Sonic for the airdrop, you could leave and then come back. Like you know what I mean? Like it's kind of free will. You're not trapped.
Yeah. The lock is a bad idea. I mean, what I was gonna say was I didn't lock anything on Barra because, like I said, I'm not doing that again. But there were some people that I know and that I heard stories of that they had locked pretty large amounts, 6 figures plus. And by the time they got unlocked and got their tokens were worth like, $40, $50 because of what had been happening with price action. So
the airdrop was worth $40 to $50.
Yeah, well, you had to get locked, and then once you got unlocked, you would get your tokens basically. Because you were technically earning yield while you were locked. That was like the selling point.
That's one of the biggest issues that I have with airdrops, and we'll address this on like season 2 and stuff. But it's good. I think it's good to talk about now. Is like when we have the airdrop, we have a lot of people that hit us up, like big whales, and they all ask the same question, which is, what's the APR in the airdrop? And the reality is, we don't know. Like, we really do not know the exact APR on the airdrop. We have no idea. We have so many variables. It just depends on, like, it depends on your position, depends on what points you're getting. It depends on this, it depends on that. So, like, anyone who asks us what's the APR for the airdrop, it just is like an automatic like bad taste in my mouth, because it's like, we don't want people that just come for the APR necessarily. Like, we want people that are coming around because they have interest on the upside of the token. Like, I get it that the opportunity cost is there, but like, if you want to have guaranteed APR, like, go farm on Aave or go farm wherever. Like, you're welcome to do that. That's why on Sonic it's just like a little treat, because you can get points and farm on Aave. So it's like that theoretically should put people at rest like a little bit, but unfortunately it doesn't. I mean, people are always asking what's the yield. I don't know what the yield is. Like, I have no idea what the largest holder or smallest holder. I think that in the coming days we'll have more clarity on the airdrop amounts and everything. But another thing that I'm seeing is that people are saying like, well, why are all the tokens getting unlocked on day one? I tweeted this yesterday. I want to clear this up. All of the 190 million tokens are not allocated to one season. I cannot stress that enough. Like,
yeah,
they are for multiple seasons.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I just pulled this up because I guess it was today or yesterday. It was kind of like a reiteration of how the system was going to work. You're going to be 25% liquid at the drop. Then you get your NFT that is vested. 75% of it's vested. That's when we're going to have the paint swap market where people can speculate on their remaining vested tokens. And yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think that the NFT market's going to be interesting.
I saw it yesterday. I saw the staging of it. So nice.
Oh,
so
man.
Nice.
Yeah, I did see a screenshot. Yeah, I saw a screenshot that I guess Sandwich shared at one point. It looked really cool. It looked almost like an order book.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty exciting. And I mean, I think that element will help, with people that, have complaints or whatever. Just that.
I mean,
hey,
I like the game theory. The game theory. What you know what? This is a good question here. What would you do? Would you, like, let's say you get the airdrop. Okay, let's just run theoretics here, okay? You get the airdrop. It's a month in. You have whatever percentage of your airdrop has been unlocked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you burning the rest to claim it if there's like a pump on the price? Like, what's your...
I think it depends on too much to really make like a strong claim. Like, I break my fucking leg. I'm in the hospital. I can't work. maybe I still I need to pay bills, or maybe there's opportunities that arise that I want to pivot out of into, right? It's all.
That's the beauty of this game theory, because it depends. Maybe you really need the cash. Maybe you have something coming up. Maybe there's another token that you're trying to buy. Maybe a token that you're really interested in takes a dump, and you're like, oh, the perfect opportunity for me to pick this thing up. I don't know, but that's why I made it like that, because I feel like it's like having burn is kind of cool feature, because then the overall like inflation. I mean, technically, it would be amazing if after like month 2, everyone claimed, right?
Yeah. No,
Imagine?
I mean, yeah, and I mean, I think like what we're hopefully gonna see. I think what I'm curious to see will be like kind of where is like the medium between if you just burned and like what people will like pay on the order book.
There should be some, either a discount. I mean, it shouldn't be a premium, right? It should be a discount of what the order book would be.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be something to like. It's gonna be something.
I will be buying. I personally will be buying from the order book. I'm sorry, like I really will, because if you're bullish long, right? I think it's just a matter of like it's like an options token kind of, right? So if you're bullish long and these things are discounted of what the price would be at the end, like you should be buying them technically.
Yeah, it's gonna be like checking it. Like it's gonna be something else to check every day. You know, it's gonna be like, all right, like what's the discount looking like? What can I scoop up? You know, who's selling for this or that? You know, I don't know. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be cool though to be able to speculate on that. You know, because obviously it adds an element where it's like, okay, at least you're not just sitting there vested. You know, it's kind of boring. You might be mad that you're having to sit on it or whatever.
Well, you could technically just make money from just buying NFTs and trading them, right, by themselves.
Yeah.
Like, forget even if you're waiting for the token. If you're just wanting to trade, just positions, I guess, right? The other thing that's cool that I it's like one of my personal favorites is that I really like the PaintSwap team a lot. I think they're like really good people just outside of crypto, just like good people to work with. And at the same time, I do see that there's a big void in the NFT space. I personally think NFTs are not making a comeback. That's my belief, right? And I think that this is a really good use case to show a lot of other like NFT exchanges about like financial NFTs, and that like the actual unlock to NFTs or ERC 721 or 1155, whatever, like that actual value unlock might be just better as this. So like if we're able to, from the foundational point of view, give the app like, you know, give PaintSwap a very loyal, very well-known application who's been stuck through the thick and thin with us, we're able to help them to kind of showcase this tech and show that like NFT markets can do more than just sell art. Like I think that that's a win-win, and especially since they're going to be making fees from the trades. So like I told them like charge fees, of course, and then like use those fees for your token. Use those fees to put back into the Sonic ecosystem. Like I think it's good. There's going to be secondary benefit aside from the airdrop, just from the fees that are generated off this thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's, you know, PaintSwap kind of having like their own little, you know, their own little eco, you know, where they have the NFT market and they have like Brush, and sometimes Brush can be used for DeFi, but it can also, you know, they use it for their games and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like pretty eye-opening to just like, you know, see how they tie it all together.
You think NFTs are dead, Corval? Well, I want to hear your thesis here.
Real quick, I want to throw this up here. I hope you guys cover how NBA Hall of Fame Scottie Pippen has goggles on. I love his timeline. Yeah, it was crazy to see that.
Bro, he also knows Satoshi, by the way, FYI.
Yeah, I've seen him say that. Yeah, that was random.
I think NFTs, I don't think they're ever going to go away. I mean, like, so what you're saying is like art NFTs, like that.
Art, yeah. Art NFTs and NFT, like OpenSea art NFT hype era people. Is that CryptoPunks? Like, is that going to make a comeback and go back to all-time highs? Like, what's your thoughts?
Well, I don't necessarily think that. I think if look, I think that's like an arts market type thing where you have like, you know, maybe some collections sometime in the future will like loop back around and have some kind of value. But I don't think we're going to get like Bored Ape Yacht Club type nonsense where it's like we're launching, we're going to make $1 billion fucking dollars. Then we're going to, you know, I think that huge money glut is gone. But I still think you're going to see like individual winners here or there. I again take the position, as I have always from the very beginning of the art NFT thing, is like you should be looking at it as exactly as if you're buying like a print or some shit. Like I like it. I can't necessarily hope. You know how stupid it is to buy art and expect to trade it? That like if you're not an art dealer, you know what I mean? Like that's a hard job, dude. And you're trying to do it online with artists who no one fucking knows. Like that's crazy. Like, but I think it
was legitimized. So I think that the art NFT stuff was just legitimized so quickly, right? Like I feel like it was like NFTs, and then 2 months later, like Christie's and Sotheby's were like talking about NFTs. I'm like, where the hell did this come from? Like, I guess there was just so much money being thrown around, and then also there's like wash trading and stuff. I don't know, but I mean, let's be clear here. You know, wash trading has been happening in the traditional art market like forever.
way more stuff than that, dude. They do watch trading. They do fucking price manipulation.
The whole art market, traditional art world, is a complete sham. So like, I think when they saw this, they're like, "Ooh, new sham, let's go."
Yeah, so I mean, in a way, actually, that's kind of like a good thesis for maybe it will always be around, and maybe it'll just get more ingrained and folded into like the existing how art markets work. But I think I've always been really interested and maybe stupidly bullish on the idea of like financial NFTs. I really like the idea of being able to trade like these things with like that have to be like individually priced. You know, it's kind of a cool.
I think that you see, I put up a couple comments here about how, they're kind of saying the same thing, where it's kind of like NFTs last run, it was kind of based in NFTs were where you joined like communities. And now that's kind of shifted the meme tokens. But I think that NFTs do come back, just, like Corville said.
Why didn't the NFTs launch meme communities? Imagine, like, why didn't no then, like, at the height, like the ape ape was the only one I could think of, really, like, that was probably big, but like they didn't need to launch a chain. They could have just launched it as a meme. It probably would have been way better. Ape chain, you remember that?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that if you're looking at stuff, I mean, it's almost like the traditional market, right? It's like the market has to be booming for people to be like, oh, I'm going to go buy like $1 million painting. It's kind of the same with NFTs, I think. I think there is like a comeback of sorts, but probably not the craze of last run. But it's like, I think when you're in that full bull market euphoria phase, NFTs are kind of like a flex. You're able to, you got some profits, you're being a little looser with your money. Dude, you're thinking I might buy a, $10,000 NFT for my PFP to show everybody that I'm flexing.
I never bought an NFT. I just want to make that clear. Ever. Like, I've never had the even slightest want to buy an NFT. That's probably one of the best financial decisions I've ever made. Because there was a lot of hype, dude. There's so many people were trying to pitch me NFTs like 3 years ago. It was nuts.
You better go right after this call. You better go sweep the dirt floor right now.
Have you dabbled?
Oh yeah.
Let me hear it. I want to know what have you guys played with NFTs?
I've made money off NFTs.
Corbel's definitely bought like so many like psychedelic NFTs, and
I kind of think you guys have actually really convinced me. I think NFTs are going to come back around in a big way, and I think they already are. I like derp. There's a lot of NFTs that exist, I think, in a good way to kind of provide like fundamentally, I think the value of an NFT is to provide some kind of stamp of approval, essentially, like you belong, you did this or whatever, right? This is true or whatever. So for sure, even the art ones are going to wrap back around because what better way to prove that you're an OG or something other than like I own this NFT from the original mint.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's kind of like the like you were saying about derp. It's kind of like you have a derp that's like okay, they're in the Sonic community. A lot of it's about communities. A lot of, sometimes, it's about both. It's about the art and the community. But
sometimes it's anteing up, it's just like, okay,
I'm
participating. But I also think there's an element to it, like you're saying, where it's a flex, where it's like, you ever play World of Warcraft? You ever play any MMO? People buy like, what do you call it? Skins and stuff. Like they buy cosmetics just to show off. Like they'll drop.
And I mean, when I say flex too, it's like, I don't necessarily mean like that's the only reason people do it, but I also mean like when the money is flowing, people have, extra income to, it's almost like a luxury item in a sense. Not that all NFTs are, but I feel like that's when you see, I feel like that's what I learned from last run is that, when you are in that bull market and everything's green and everything's going up, then people start, spending money on stuff like NFTs more. And of course you still have, your general winners just because like they're really good communities or, really good art or whatever. But yeah, I don't think they're dead. Let's just say that they're not dead. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think they're dead. I think the people say that they're dead just because volumes have fallen off so much and like the really big visible ones have kind of lost, I guess, some respectability, but no, I think they're going to be around forever. And I think they're fun and I think they're good. I think they're, I don't really like Bitcoin NFTs, but the other ones are fun.
Well, last thing to touch on, since we're talking about volumes, did want to touch on this stat on Shadow. Ranked number 8 on the new holder revenue leaderboard, outperforming chains like Solana and many other top chains and protocols. $2 billion in trading volume in the last 30 days, 3.5 million in fees, and 5.8 million distributed to voters. So that's from like bribes and stuff for the pools. So pretty big numbers. Not to toot my own horn, but I figured I'd share this post. Just to put it in perspective, it was a post I did yesterday where I was looking at some like figures on some of like the top fee generating protocols. So right now, I mean, you know, Shadow is like, you know, about halfway to like something like Radium, which, as we know, I mean, you know, Radium is like the hub of Solana trading. So to put it in perspective, you know, Shadow basically earning almost half of what Radium does in fees when there's only 3% of Solana DEX volume, you know, when you're looking at Sonic. I think those are pretty significant numbers.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out the Shadow. Let's get that TVL, that whole chain TVL up, overtake Radium, show everybody who's boss. But yeah, looking at those figures, I was like, whoa, like this is, you know, closer to Radium than I thought it would be. And I mean, that's impressive when you think about, you know, the fees that are getting generated and going to holders and traders and all that stuff. So,
I mean, it honestly is insane. And I kind of want to point out too, you know, like this stuff is like, I know we had a lot of FUD. I don't want to feed trolls. Okay. You know, I'm a max extractor. I don't want to feed the trolls. I want to extract from them, you know, but, the big thing to me is like these numbers seem to indicate to me like potential going forward, right? Like you said, this is an incredible amount of fee generation off of a small percentage of the same volume. So if we get that volume up, basically what I'm getting at is you're freaking early, dude. Everyone wants to be early in crypto. Yeah. It waxes and wanes how early you are, but now you're early, dude. So get in.
Well, yeah, and that was the final part I put into perspective was you're looking at the fees like that where it's about half of what Radium does in fees with only 3% of the volume of Solana. But Ray as a token, 670 million market cap. Shadow right now at 11 million market cap. So yeah, when you say early, it's like, you know, and that's not just talking about Shadow. I mean, that's like saying, you know, to put it in perspective for the network, you know, regardless of what DEX you like or whatever, I would say it's an indication that you could still be pretty early here. If you think that window is passed, I don't think it has.
Yeah, I'm counting on it. I'm still farming Shadow, you know, I'm still a Shadow freak, Shadow World Order. So I am biased.
Shadow World Order. Let's see. I think that's all we got today, really.
And then also I want to announce that we have a newsletter we're going to be launching on Friday. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be crafted by our very own Louise. So it's going to be excellent. It's going to have all the alpha, all the news you could possibly want in one place. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we're excited on that. He's been working on it. The idea will be like, I don't know if it's going to be weekly or bi-weekly, but the idea will be, you know, condensing all the, you know, the things we talk about, all our references, you know, all the info basically that we have to gather to do this show. It was a really good idea to say, hey, you know, if people want like a format, like a newsletter where they can get all that info, you know, some people prefer it that way. And also it's just maybe like a nice little recap or, you know, whatever. So we're pretty excited to add that. And yeah, like Corville said, I think that's dropping Friday. We'll have all the links to sign up for it and all that good stuff. You know, don't put your private key in there, but no, we'll have all the links soon, and excited for that, just to have another little hub of info and stuff around GMSONIC. So it's gonna be good.
For sure. Well, that's all I've got for us, Dracula, and that's all you got too.
It's all I got today.
Let's send these people home. Thank you so much for tuning in to GMSONIC, guys. We love it. We appreciate you so much for watching. And
we will see you Friday.
GMSONIC is Corval and Dracula Presley. GM.